Today are said to have agreed a price with Inter Milan for the signature of Romelu Lukaku this summer. This is coupled with a claim from the Sunday World that Chelsea are set to ramp up their efforts to sign Jadon Sancho and Lukaku this summer. This is slightly contradicted by a claim from Simon Phillips that has told us today that Thomas Tuchel likes Callum Hudson-Odoi and is planning for him to be a part of his squad next season. So watch this space in relation to Jadon Sancho and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Tonight we're going to be previewing the mammoth Champions League final this Saturday and picking the Man City and Chelsea combined 11. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Here we go. Good afternoon, welcome back to the Terrace, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are all well. I hope you're all doing good. Previewing the Champions League final. We're going to be joined by Jan, a lot of the Chelsea crew a little bit later. We're going to be taking your calls this afternoon as well. But also big news in relation to Chelsea Football Club and their pursuit of Romelu Lukaku. Of course, last Monday, we had Sasha on the show, Belgian football expert, that broke the news to the world that Chelsea had been working for months on a deal to try and bring Lukaku back to Stamford Bridge. But of course, reiterated many, many times, he was very happy, very, very happy with life in Italy, life under Antonio Conte. But we now know that Conte has left due to the fact that Inter need to raise somewhere in the region of 80 to 100 million pounds, depending upon the reports, in player sales, and reduce their wages by around 20%. Lukaku is seen as the best option of getting the majority of the wages down and the funds raised in one go. So along with the claims today from the Sunday World that Chelsea are set to ramp up their attempts to try and sign Romelu Lukaku and Jadon Sancho, in Court Offsides, Jamie Wilkinson's Court Offside journalist states here that sources have now said that Inter Milan have set the price at 80 million euros for the signature of Lukaku. They're hoping to raise around the 80 million pound to pay off debts. Chelsea is said to be happy with this price and will look to push forward with this deal after the Euros. And that's an interesting thing for me. Chelsea have been looking for a number 9 for a long time. The claims are getting stronger and stronger. The one stumbling block was going to be, is Kante going to be staying or is Kante going to be leaving? That's done. That's over. So when I said Conte, sorry. That's done. That's finished. That's over. It's now how hard are Chelsea going to push for this? Some believe this is going to be done before the Euros. And I wouldn't say that's an outlandish claim or thought that it could be done before the Euros begin. However, there is an outside view in sort of the Chelsea spectrum that, of course, they're still looking at haaland, and of course they're still looking at the possibility of signing Harry Kane. Maybe getting Lukaku done early will sort of scupper those moves if one of those players pushes to get out later on, or their clubs change their mind or whatnot. But Chelsea fans, I want your views and your opinions on this. 18 million euros is said to be the price that Inter Milan have set, that Chelsea are exceedingly happy with, and of course they will be. They're being quoted between 120 and 150 million pounds plus for Harry Kane and Haaland. How many more goals a season, respectively, do you think are those guys going to score ahead of Lukaku? And if you're talking about 50, 60, 70, 80, maybe even 90 million pounds more in the window, does Lukaku represent better business for Chelsea? We want to take your views. We want to take your opinions on that as well. Equally, Simon Phillips there, he put out I don't know why I've shut it down now. I'm going to go back and find it. But he put out a tweet today, which was very, very interesting as well. Obviously, often aggregates quite a bit of information that he receives from others or reads about in relation to others. But today put out a tweet about, which I thought was interesting, about Callum Hudson-Odoi. Because Dean Jones the other day told us that Chelsea are up for selling him this summer. They could even loan him out, but they would want somebody to pay the lion's share, the majority of his £120,000 a week contract. But Simon put out a tweet this morning saying that he's been told that Tuchel likes Callum Hudson-Odoi and is planning for him to be part of his squad next season. He said that Callum is happy and wants to stay. That's had a hell of a lot of traction. Of course, Simon is a very, very popular content creator, writer in the Chelsea fan sphere. So what do you think? because you've got a lot of claims that Chelsea is still looking at trying to sign Jadon Sancho. They were trending everywhere last night. Gem and all our Chelsea boys were pumping them into the group chats. We've seen it everywhere. There is now this claim that Callum Hudson-Odoi is going to stay. Can Chelsea fans conceivably see a time, a moment, what's the word I'm looking for here? Can you see a world where Jadon Sancho and Callum Hudson-Odoi are both at Chelsea at the same time? Or is it one or the other in your opinion? I want to gauge that from your view today. Someone here says Jem's a hater. Jem's just got his opinions. CFC Time here says Simon Phillips with the facts. Well, look, Simon Phillips also shared Dean Jones's information the other day as well. It's what he has been told there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, in my opinion. Let's do some more of your live comments that are coming through here. Chelsea Love says 80 million is pushing it. But I can't deny what Lukaku has achieved in his career. I think 80 million. I haven't looked at a converter today because I just haven't. Let's have a little look now what that converts into. Right now, 80 million in the 68.8 mil. So 68 million pounds for Lukaku versus reports of 150 plus for Harry Kane. How many more goals is Harry Kane really going to score than Lukaku? Is it worth that money? That's the big question. Or is Lukaku going to be enough to put these chances away? You, the Chelsea fans, have the chance to come on and have your say. We're also going to be picking today the combined 11s, as you can see here. Really looking forward to doing that. It's kind of my base that I put out today, but we're going to let the panel later and yourselves help to pick the combined 11 for the Champions League final. I went with a 4-3-3. It's not overtly fair on Chelsea due to the formation that they play. What would you change? What would you do differently to that team? I do feel like Chelsea maybe needs some representation in that front line. And I actually think Reece James potentially in at right back over Kyle Walker as well. But I want your help with that. You're going to help me pick. It was very quick base that was put together. We're going to be doing that a little bit later on today. That's what we're going to be doing with you. Let's do some more of your comments that are coming through here. They still owe United 60 mil. I think it's 60 million euros, something along those lines. They still owe Man United. So Chelsea essentially will be paying Man United, not directly. It will go in it'll go into Inter and then back to us. Chelsea are giving Manchester United around 40 million pounds this summer. Artem says, I don't think Hudson-Odoi is going anywhere. Him and TT seem to have a good relationship, and I think TT will play him next year. And maybe they will. And I think maybe it's Thomas Tuchel that really wants to keep him. Maybe it's Chelsea Football Club that are looking at other alternatives. But let me ask this question again. I suppose it comes to people. I suppose on when it comes to an opinion, it's what do you think is going to happen? Because I see a lot of Chelsea fans still getting excited about Jadon Sancho. For you, Artem, as you put a comment in, for Chelsea Love, for CFC Time is talking a lot in the chat today. Can you see a world where both Hudson-Odoi and Sancho are at Chelsea at the same time? Or do you think it's going to be one or the other? We're going to open up the lines a little bit later for you to come on and have your say, to tell us what you think, what you feel. Keep getting those comments in right now. Thank you, McLovin, for that good evening. It's just what I needed to hear today. Thank you, buddy. Mo here says, Terry, I told you Cho wasn't leaving and has an amazing relationship with Tuchel. Let's see. And if he has, then great. I mean, as I say, what we do here at the Football Terrace is we present you the news as it is in the ether, and we give you the opportunities to have your say. That's it. So if you turn out to be right, well done you. If it turns out he leaves, I won't be coming for you, Mo. I'll just say that's the way it is. It's just the news. So you get to have your say there. Top man. Thank you. A comment here says Mason Mount out, Gundogan in. Well, you know the rules. You guys will get the opportunity later to have your picks and push it forward. John thinks there should be a false nine and Bernardo Silva or Gundogan in the team. Well, we'll have a little butchers at that. I'm looking forward to doing the combined 11 a little bit later. Jake actually says Pulisic over Foden. That's a big claim. How many people would do that right about now? I don't know. That is an interesting claim. Very interesting claim. Aguero in 2001. I think Aguero is going to play a big part in the final tomorrow. And maybe not minutes, big part, but decisive part. He's going to be huge tomorrow. Something's going to happen for him, written in the stars. And it might bite. That might be big, like he misses a sitter. But I get a feeling he's going to be, I don't know why, I just keep getting this feeling that Aguero's name is going to be trending at some point during that final. If I said tomorrow, I do apologize. I meant on Saturday. Mo thinks Aguero is washed. Cancelo over Walker is what Pete believes. Maybe. Mahrez or Ziyech. Well, you guys will get to decide. You guys will get to help us pick that a little bit later on. Chelsea Love says, no way. There is Pulisic, Ziyech, Werner already playing a winger. Sancho is coming in, would send Cho back to the reserves. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why, again, this is... I'm not confused by the news. The news is the news. I'm confused by people's opinions. Confuse me because their opinions are always, not every opinion you hold about your club can be a positive one, even if it's about a transfer rumor. You know, if Man United get linked to 3 players in the same position, I can't hold a belief they're all coming because they're not. And I sometimes I've seen that with a few Chelsea fans in a few days. Trust me, we're going to land we're going to land Sancho. But none of them want to believe there's a possibility that anybody's going to leave as well. It's like, well, I don't understand it. But I don't think both those opinions can coexist at the same time. Grey Wolf Dinner says Werner should be in. That is an interesting one, Grey Wolf Dinner. And when we get onto that later on in the show, I'm sure we'll pick up on that and debate it with the team. City getting slapped is what Bilal thinks is going to happen. That's an interesting one indeed. It's going to be interesting. I'm actually excited about it. Do you know why? Because I've got no real dog in the fight. And I am getting to a point, and maybe it's because my club is so poor, but I am getting to this stage where I prefer not to watch Man United play, especially when I'm working. I just prefer it. It's more relaxing. I find it far too stressful. I really do. Artem says, based on our scoring performance, nobody in our front three deserves to be in that combined 11. We shall see. We shall see what you will pick later on tonight on this show. Mo says, Terry, if Kane joins United, that's what will happen to Greenwood. Martial at his best, Cavani at his best, Kane at his best, or better. Is his United career over? That's is that a serious question, Mo? If Kane comes in, Martial won't remain at the club. That's first. That's first and foremost. So yeah, it's certainly not over. There's space within the squad. So yeah, it's definitely not over. Not in any way, shape, or form for me. Ram says, where's Gundogan? You guys can pick it. Like, it's just a base. Listen, what we picked earlier is just an outline-based team. It isn't the final piece of work. So slow down, relax, and when we move on to it later, we can put in what needs to happen. Jan is backstage. We'll be joining us soon. I don't know where the rest of the Chelsea lot are. They're never on time. Never on time. Let's see where people are at, so we can push on forward with this. Oh, wow. News just breaking this afternoon that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to get a new deal, despite the final. A new 3-year deal at the club. I actually like reading that. Do you know why I like reading that? As I said this morning, and we're not going to talk much Man United tonight because this isn't the stream for it, but a few people just sent me that through. That's why I was laughing this morning very much. I agree that Ollie isn't good enough, but everybody that's acting, they're not acting. People are lying to themselves that sacking Ollie is going to fix the club. And the example I give is this: just sacking Ollie and appointing a better coach with no other changes being made to Manchester United Football Club from the how we run and operate. And part of that is by having high standards. So giving a manager a new 3-year contract for not winning a trophy and just coming second and qualifying for the Champions League shows you the standards. That's the equivalence of thinking that if you're in a bad marriage, having a baby is going to fix it. If the marriage is bad, the marriage is bad. And if the running of Man United Football Club doesn't improve dramatically, no new manager is going to get us back to the level that we want to be at. It may be okay for some people because they just might settle for having prettier football. And I can kind of buy that and understand it. But don't delude any Man United fans watching and listening right now. Don't delude yourselves that a new manager, any manager in the world, is going to suddenly turn us back into one of the elite teams on the planet. Simply not happening. Jem was backstage and now he has gone. I have no idea where he disappeared to. Just waiting for the rest of the crew to turn up. 1 second. I'm messaging the group chat. Daniel's here now, actually. So Daniel's here. Jem will be here in a few moments, and then we'll get everybody on, and we'll start talking about this game. It's gonna be an interesting one. I'm really excited about it. Like, it's nice to be. It's going to be nice to be able to focus on a game without worrying about the outcome. Danny here with a super chat says, Jose got a new deal and got sacked. Why does it really matter? I said, listen, I'll respect the super chat. It matters because there's also going to be a fairly big pay increase for Ollie as well. The pay increase is going to be somewhere in the region of about £2 to £3 million. So if you extend his deal and then we sack him by Christmas, we're hemorrhaging another £10 to £15 million in compensation. It's just stupid. It's just absolutely stupid. Poor business. It really is. That's why. If Ollie was a Chelsea manager, he'd have been sacked in 2019. Of course he would. Sharik here says, I'm not buying the prettier football argument. That's just hypothetical, in my opinion. What's the point of wanting that and no trophies? No, listen, I agree with that. And I'm not going to get into it because this isn't the stream for it. I wish I never mentioned it now, but I had to respect the super chat. It just, as I say, people will chop and change. Like people are deluding themselves. And people lie to themselves all the time in this world. Oh, if this one little thing happens, it'll be okay. No, it won't. It's not. You know, have you seen that meme where I think it's a cartoon character? He's sitting in his house and it's burning down and he's like, everything's okay. That's basically it. How it feels to be a United fan. Let's do this here. Let's get back onto the subject that we're here for. We're going to bring Daniel and Jan on in a few moments. Just getting a little bit concerned where the rest of the Chelsea mob are at. Okay, about half past ago. Okay, cool. That makes sense. That's what they're saying. Sweet. All right, Jem's here as well with Jan. We're going to bring them in now to have their say, build up to this game. Where is everyone at? All right, there we go. Jan is here. Dan is here. Jem is here. How are we all doing?
All good, bro. All good.
Good. Just as a precursor, a few things heads up about tonight's show. No talking Ollie, no saying good evening. Don't mention the word Europa. Like, all these things are banned. They're not allowed on the show today. I'm being Terry Mugabe today. So, yeah, we're putting a foot down on that one. But now only messing. It's a couple of days away, though, from your big finals. And Jem done a lot of banter in the last few days. I was thinking about you this morning. I was like, that's actually brave. A few days out from your own final, you know.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I can't take it from a United fan. I can't take it from an Arsenal fan, because at the end of the day, even if we lose to Man City, it's Man City. You guys lost to a 7th in the league Spanish side that had a goalie that ain't even better than Kepa. And that's just embarrassing. I'm sorry, bro. Like, you can't bring it to us.
Do you know what it is? Do you know when people have said to me, Terry, do you realize how embarrassing it is? I'm like, did you not see my match? I don't need someone to tell me that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Terry, do you know what, Terry, what's that? You know, it's just an obvious thing. Sky's blue. Yeah, I know, bruv. It's awful. There is no excuse for it, and no one can give. I did see a few people. Yes, I blocked about 10 Ollie inners today. That I saw talking about if we had a DM and if we had, and I was like, nah, I just hit the block button. I'm like, I can't do it any. The same as people that just say, bring us in a manager and it's fixed. the same as, just give us Sancho and it won't happen again. It's like, you're all dumb, bro. I'm done with him. Done with it. Anyway, big final. I'm going to go to Jan first on this. We're going to get into tactics, and we're obviously going to look at picking a combined 11 a little bit later on today. But Jan, from your point of view, how are you feeling ahead of the biggest final in your club's history on Saturday night?
I'm so nervous. Like, I'm trying not to think about it because honestly, it just makes me feel sick. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't know how people are there like, yeah, I can't wait. Like, nah, I'm nervous as hell. You know, I hope the players aren't as nervous as me. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I think against sort of anyone else, you can kind of predict. So you can kind of look at previous results and be like, okay, well, you know, City should win this, or oh gosh, City might lose. But Chelsea is just so hard to call on a regular day. So in the Champions League final, I think it's going to be very 50-50. And that worries me a little bit. On paper, Man City should win, but we know football doesn't work out like that. We saw it in the FA Cup final. We saw it last night in the Europa League final. There's a lot of the title races this season have kind of gone to the underdog. So it worries me a little bit. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I'm not excited. I'm just nervous, I'd say, more than anything.
Very, very true about the underdog thing. It's been the year of the underdogs right across Europe. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, Chelsea have succumbed to that themselves. How about yourself, Jem? You know, third Champions League final in the Roman era. It's been a poor end to the season for yourselves in terms of results. But do you think that counts for anything ahead of this game?
It's a tough one. For me, it really does depend how Chelsea turn up on the day. Put it this way, if we turn up how we did against Villa, then forget it. Jan shouldn't be too worried if we play like that, because they'll comfortably slap us 3-4-0. That's what I think anyway. But yeah, I think Chelsea need to put in a performance that they did against Atletico Madrid. I think they need to be organised from the back. I think we need to make sure that we have the right selection as well, the right players on the pitch. No trying to make players play in positions that don't work, or players that don't deserve opportunities coming in a big game like it is in the UEFA Champions League final. You know, there's going to be pressure there for us to potentially get the win, but I feel like all the pressure in theory is on Manchester City on this one. I just think Man City are the favourites. I feel like Man City, you know, especially not winning it as well and getting to their first final, are expected, in my eyes, to go and win this Champions League. And for us, like I said, I didn't really expect us to be here. Us getting to a final already, for me, is an overachievement in many ways. So, yeah, you know, I'm ready.
Yeah, mate, I hear that. I do hear that in terms of it being an overachievement, or maybe so what I would use, like being ahead of yourselves in many ways. How about yourself, Dan? I mean, I always like to touch base before we talk tactics, emotions, feelings, because fans, I always think that's the most important bit. Are you building up nerves yet, or is it just excitement? Where's your head at?
No, my nerves won't kick in until like 5 minutes before kickoff, something like that. So I'm watching the game with a couple of my guys. So obviously, match reaction. We'll see if I'm going to be with them or if I'm going to be trudging home. But yeah, like my nerves aren't really here right now, innit? I'm calm now, but it's when it gets to, I'd say, Friday night, Saturday, building up to it, 5 minutes before kickoff, even during the game, you're just going to be mad nervous. But I've kind of detached myself from any emotions, feeling like we could win this game. Like, I've detached it. Like it's just another game. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to have any expectations, any feelings, because the team's already let me down a number of times in the last couple of weeks. We wanted to win against Arsenal. We wanted the FA Cup win, and we wanted the win against Aston Villa. That's 3 big games that this team has struggled to motivate themselves to perform. So, boy, I don't know, man. I'm just vibing.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to do the previews today, because I feel like by tomorrow evening, there's almost that element of people are just like, I know what it's like. I've you know, I think 4 Champions League finals I've geared up to as a Man United fan in my life, and the day before and the day of the final, I'm almost like a write-off. I don't want to talk to anyone. Do you get what I mean? It's a horrible feeling because it's excitement and nerves and everything else all rolled into one. Yeah, and when you look at Chelsea, though, as we say, that they've lost a few games. I think 4 of their last 5 games, or three of the last 4 games might have been defeat, something along those lines. Where do you see the weaknesses? Where do you think Pep Guardiola is going to try and exploit this Chelsea team?
I think obviously Chelsea have their issues going forward. That's no secret. I think Man City also do, to be fair, we're not the most clinical, even though we score a lot of goals. We still aren't as clinical as we should be. I don't know, because Werner, like the way Chelsea play, it's difficult for Man City. I'd say it's, more so than a team that come at us. I think if Chelsea really did come at us, I think it'd be slightly easier for Pep. If they play how they did the last couple of times we played them. Werner in particular, as much as people, talk about, he's not good and this, that, and the other, he's been really good against Man City. So, yeah, I think it's difficult. I think it's going to come down to whoever is more clinical on the night. I think the chances that we both get, we need to take. I don't think Chelsea are going to get as many chances as they did against Madrid, against Man City. And I don't think Man City are going to get too many chances ourselves. So, yeah, it'll be down to who is more clinical and who defends the best, I think, and a combination of the two. It'll be a tight game. Obviously, we'll do score predictions later, but yeah, it's going to be tight, and it's going to come down to literally moments, which is what happens in competition. So I don't know how people are confident, like my team are going to win, because I can't tell you until the night, maybe at halftime, I can tell you who's going to win. But right now, I can't predict it at all, honestly. So hopefully Man City have found a way to deal with Chelsea, because I think the last 2 games, Pep's kind of tried 2 different things, which is slightly different to how we normally play, and it didn't work. So I hope he just goes back to basics. And, I think if Man City play the way we did against PSG, I think we should be winning that game if we play like that. And I agree with what Jem said. I think if Chelsea play the way they did against Atletico Madrid, they probably got their best chance of beating us. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but I hope that Pep's kind of found a solution to, I know it's a different team as well. I know he will start with a better team than he did. I know people say we had key players on the pitch, but Man City play better when they have their best team out all over the pitch. And, we've seen that in the Champions League. So, yeah, hopefully we can do it.
I hear you on that. I want to go Daniel on this question. You've beaten in the first 2 games between Pep and Tuchel at City and Chelsea, respectively. Do you think that's going to play a factor in this final at all?
I said, nah, not at all. Going to have no bearing on the final at all. I think the 2 games that we played against them, I'd say the FA Cup game became meaningless because we didn't win the FA Cup in the end. And yeah, people want to talk about psychological factors, but we're talking about the biggest game in football, pretty much the Champions League final. So I don't think that has any bearing, really. We've seen that there have been players from Man City that didn't play in that game, players from Chelsea, key players from both teams that didn't play in both games. So that's not a good indication as to how this game is going to go. Yeah, it's just tough. I think maybe from a manager standpoint, maybe Pep uses that to overthink a bit with what he wants to do in terms of his tactics. In both games, I think we saw more of what Chelsea would do rather than what Man City would do on the day. But yeah, in terms of the players, it's not going to have a bearing on them. They're going to all go out and play their own game. And I think if Chelsea want to win that game, Chelsea need to go back to what they were doing in the early stages of the Tuchel run. They need to focus on defending well and capitalize on the chances that we make. We make about, I'd say, 5-6 chances a game. I think if we can score 2 of them, I bank on us defending well enough to keep Man City out. But again, it comes down to, are we able to get the first goal, which I think is key in this game. Getting the first goal, being a front runner in this game is going to be so key. And then defending well, like Jan said, it's just about defending really well. So, yeah.
You want it? Hi, Neats. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm not talking much today.
Oh, good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
I'm good. I'm good. I had a nice day. Been cleaning my barbecue, and I'm gonna cook some steak later outside.
You're gonna cook in the evening?
That's good. I like that. I do like that. I will. It's sad. I'm sad. I'm gonna cry. Jem.
Yes, bro.
Your lack of clinical edge, finishing chances, is that your biggest fear going into this game?
100%, 101%. Listen, Tuchel's come in and he's improved Chelsea defensively massively. You know, we do not leak goals, and if we do leak goals, it's usually down to our own doing. Let's be serious. The goals that we've conceded recently have been because we've kind of given them in a way. You know, with that wrong pass or that that lack of concentration in many ways. And yeah, it's an issue that Chelsea. I keep saying this, and I've said this many times on it. I think Chelsea have an issue at the moment at the other end of the pitch. And for me, when I watch the front three, whether it's a Pulisic, Hazard, Werner, or not Hazard, Havertz, Werner, or a Mount, Havertz, Werner, whoever it is, I just feel like they lack chemistry. And that might be just because of the amount of rotation that he does with the front three. You know, you never really see a solid front three play at Chelsea. He's always sort of mixing and matching Ziyech, Werner on the bench, etc., etc. And I just feel like that's probably got a part to do with it. And yeah, it's a problem for us at the moment. Going into this game, we do have to, if we're going to get chances, and we will get chances to get Man City. I really do think we will. It just falls down to whether, like what Dan said, if we take our chances, cool. I don't worry about the other end of the pitch, us conceding. It's just more getting them in the goal, man.
Yeah. I hear you on that. And how are you, Neat? How are you feeling ahead of this game? We spoke to the Jan and the boys earlier about, are they nervous yet, relaxed yet? How are you feeling ahead of it? Are you starting to build up the nerves yet, or is it just sort of relaxed for now? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm not nervous. I ain't nervous. I'm playing. Of course, I'm flipping nervous. Like after yesterday, I'm just like, anyone can get it in it. Like, to be honest with you, I'm not as nervous as I was last week. Last week, I was thinking there's no chance in hell. Like, might even be the most embarrassing final. Might be a 4-0, 5-0. I don't know. But now that I'm back to normality and United lost yesterday, and now I'm thinking, okay, I can think straight again, and like the world is back in order. I don't know. I'm not as confident as I want to be because of our recent form, but I'm more confident than I was last week. So that's progress. I ain't happy and I ain't, overjoyed about being in the Champions League final with Man City. I don't have all the confidence in the world, but if my team goes out there, like Jem rightfully said, like if my team goes out there and plays how we did against Atletico, how we did against Real Madrid, how we did against Porto in the first leg, then, I'm going to put all my money behind them. However, if we play like how we did against Aston Villa, how we did against Arsenal, how we did against West Brom, it's looking a bit peak. So I don't know.
I do hear you on that, and we're going to get into like starting lineups and everything a little bit later. We're going to have some fun before that and pick a combined 11 of the two teams, which is always a little bit of fun using the BBC's website. It's actually nice, quick and easy, as opposed to the tiering system that we normally use. Viewers, you can get involved, you can get your super chats in. If you want to put players in, take players out and stuff like that. So we're going to move on and do that in a few moments as well. But in terms of like sort of winning this, I want to ask the sort of Chelsea fans this question: how much do you think there's going to be pressure on Tuchel if he doesn't win going into next season? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Because there's this big hype train of how well he's done, and to maybe not win it, a bit of a damp what's the phrase, damp squib at the end of the season. Do you think that will put more pressure on him next season, or is he still fine?
Do you know what? There's so many ways to look at this, right? But I personally think he doesn't have the pressure to actually win this. I personally think the pressure that he has is for himself, because obviously he came from another Champions League final last season, and for him to go out again at a Champions League final this season, it will be a lot of pressure on himself. But when it comes to like pressure from the club gave him an 18-month contract for a reason. Like, I don't think the club expected him to even get this far anyway. I think it's more of a self-accomplishment for Tuchel than it would be Roman Abramovich needs this trophy now, you know. But the expectation at Chelsea is always, if you get into a final, you're expected to win. So him losing the FA Cup final will add more pressure on him at the same time. Like, it's a crazy way to look at it. You can look at it from both ends of the spectrum, but Roman will probably be looking at it like, okay, he came in when we were 9th. The team looks more informed than it's ever looked informed this entire season. We lost an FA Cup final. I would like a trophy. However, considering where we've come from, he wouldn't expect us to beat the best team in England. Like, that's how I see it. And that's why, you know, they're still in talks of Tuchel signing another contract before even, you know, we played the final, you know. So there's always two ends of the spectrum for it. But I don't think it's that jeopardy.
Yeah, can I just add on top of that very quickly as well? Obviously, I feel like in terms of the goal, you know, the target for Chelsea at the beginning of the season when Frank Lampard was involved at Chelsea as well, I feel like that hasn't really moved if you think about it in terms of the same for Tuchel. I think Champions League was a must for me. Champions League, I think they would have set out to say, look, we need to get Champions League. We spent this money. If we get a trophy along the way, cool, we'll take it. But Champions League for me was the biggest thing for Chelsea this season, and probably competing or being close to the top, which we failed massively. Let's be serious. But getting Champions League was the main aim, and if we get a trophy along the way, which we did in the FA Cup, we've got another opportunity to get a Champions League. You know, of course we'd take it, but if we didn't, I don't think there'd be too much pressure from the board on Tuchel.
Yeah, I mean, hi David, by the way, hello mate, thanks for joining this. I think like. I think there's a lot of rival fans that want there to be pressure on Tuchel. Like, they want him to feel it and everything else. And if I take away the banter and the fan side of me, my view is this. Every Chelsea managers are always under pressure. He could win the Champions League and still be sacked at Christmas if the season's going terribly. So I don't really think it's too much to worry about. On pressure, Jan, there's always this, again, another fan rumor. Pep was brought in to win the Champions League. If he loses, what's the reaction going to be like amongst City fans?
I don't know. Some were kind of questioning him last season because obviously we fell off a little bit. We were close to Liverpool. People kind of him a little bit at that time. And they did actually, I think it's my internet. They did actually say last season, you know, okay.
Yeah, your internet's going. Maybe jump out and jump back in.
Yeah, try doing that. Yeah, try jumping out, jumping back in and see if that works. We'll see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. No, what do you guys make it up with Pep? Like, does he have to win the tournament?
Facts, he does. I've been saying it. Look, at the end of the day, Pep is under the most pressure. He's going to be drinking a lot of water in this. When Pep's drinking water, you know that's when he's under pressure. Like, this is big for him. At the end of the day, he has this stigma around him that he can only win it with Messi. He didn't win it with Bayern when he was really expected to. And the year he leaves, or Hansi Flick literally wins it in his first year. So obviously, it's a big marker on him. He's been at Man City for now. I think this is his 4th year at Man City, and this is the first Champions League final. And I think Man City fans probably expected to have been there a bit earlier, especially considering the teams that they've lost to in previous campaigns. So there's huge pressure on him. But I think it's with the Tuchel thing about the pressure. The one thing I wanted to say is that it'll be a bit of Aesop's fable. And I say this all the time, where Chelsea fans will be saying, "Oh yeah, if he loses, He deserves to get sacked. We've lost 2 finals on the bounce. Da-di-da-di-da. Not considering the circumstances in which we got to those finals. Like Lampard, but we've had almost like 5 seasons within one season. There's so much that has happened that you'd forget that Lampard was even our manager at the beginning of the season. So where I say the Aesop's Fable thing comes into it, like if we do sack Tuchel because of pressure from fans and stuff like that, like who do we bring in? Because Chelsea have been fond of bringing in the best available manager at the time to handle the situation and win us trophies and do da-di-da-di-da. You run out. You inevitably will run out of managers to replace the managers. Do you know what I'm saying? No. Conte is good, but the problem with Conte is you sacrifice recruitment because he buys for the now, buys like experienced players to suit his system. Once he gets sacked,
plus we went to court with him then anyway. He sued us for a lot, mate. So,
He's not coming back.
You'll be left with but yeah, the point is, look, at the end of the day, you can't be reactionary with this, man. Tuchel needs a full season, a summer. Like, if we win the Champions League, you have to understand that it's a bonus, like a major bonus that was not expected. So, yeah, man.
I hear you. Jan's back with us now. Thanks, Jan. In terms of the pressure, Danny was saying where you. I'm not sure if you heard it backstage that there is sort of pressure on Pep to win this. What's the noise around that like amongst City fans?
Yeah, like I said, a few City fans did question whether Pep would win it. I do have people that have said they think City will win it after, kind of like what's happened even with Chelsea, actually. Like they had Jose Mourinho, you would have put money on him winning it with Chelsea, but then he left and then, Di Matteo came in and won it. So it could be the same for Man City. I do think it's our first final. Pep has a good record in Champions League finals when he gets there, but Man City have no experience. So I think as much as we should win it, like based on how we are as a team, it is one of them. It's our first final, and not many teams win their first final. So I think the pressure is on City regardless. In terms of Pep, from the fans, I think the fans know Pep is, probably the best we can get. If we lose that final, it will be on the players. It's not going to be on Pep. I think them players are good enough to go out there and put performance in.
I don't think that's true.
What, you don't think the players are good enough?
No, I think there's an element of Pep being like, because if the whole thing of I've been brought in to win the Champions League final thing is a true thing, him getting to that stage will make him then do his typical, I will overthink this thing, especially with Chelsea, who we've beaten you twice, and both times he tried a different system and it didn't work. So he's not going to go out with the same system. So he's going to think of another way to try and beat us. And I doubt you'll come in your normal 4-3-3 and try and do what we did, because we've already beaten that. And we've beaten your 3-3-3-1.
No, I think he will, because in the Champions League, if you've noticed, what happened last time is he overfought it, and he got slated last time. It was definitely, the Lyon game was definitely blamed on Pep, and I'm not against that, because it was clearly a weird formation. But Pep, if you've noticed, has played pretty much the same team throughout the whole of the Champions League knockout stages. He always plays with a false 9. Against Chelsea the first time, I think we played Sterling, Varane, and Gabby. Who that three haven't played in the Champions League at all this season. Maybe in the early group stages, but not in the latter stages. And then in the second game, I think he went with Sterling again, if I remember correctly. I don't know. And he went with Varane again. And Aguero. Did he go? No, we went with Gabby. So he's not played the same in the Champions League as he has in the league. And I just think, I know, obviously you can only go off what you've seen of Man City when we played you, but I do think Man City in the Champions League, they play completely different. Like I've seen in the league, we look a little bit vulnerable defensively in the league, whereas in the Champions League, we have looked a lot stronger. So I don't know. I can't tell you what's going to happen. It's a final. We don't know which players it's going to get to them. Some players might be really nervous. They might make mistakes. And I think that it could be individual error that either, wins it for me, wins it for City, or loses it for Chelsea. You know, that sort of thing, or the other way around. So I don't know. I'll have to see, but I think Pep. I don't think Pep will overthink it. I think he knows the backlash if he does. So I don't think he will.
I'm with Jan on that one, you know, like if we've actually spotted like the consistency with Pep's team for the Champions League is actually bloody crazy. And I think it was against PSG where he was asked like, yeah, are you not going to play a striker? You're not going to play Aguero? You're not going to play Jesus? And he said, false nine has been working this whole time in the Champions League, so why would he change it? So if he does come into the final and he changes it, boy, I think he's going to get slated by a lot of Man City fans, but I doubt he's going to make that mistake again, especially when he's come so close. And we look at the Chelsea matches, right, that Man City's had with us, right? And obviously we're thinking about how it might play on Pep's mind, but how is it going to play on Tuchel's mind? Pep has played different systems against Tuchel. Pep has played different players. What's Tuchel going to think? You know, is Tuchel going to succumb to what he's played against with Man City, or is he going to look at his Pep's Champions League form? Really and truly, Tuchel's going to have a lot to think about more than Pep in this situation. So I think as Chelsea fans, we shouldn't rely on Pep, you know, potentially bottling it. I don't think he. I
hope you know. I'm expecting us to lose this game. Like I want to win, but realistically, they are Man United. We are Villarreal. We should. We should.
No, we should not.
We shouldn't be here. We should not be here.
No, we're over.
Hang on a minute. There is not as much of a gap between you and City as there is between Man United and Villarreal. If you'd have said us and Leicester in the FA Cup final, I might have gave you that. But don't try and make. Stop trying to create. David. Stop trying to create a Disney story. Stop trying to create a Disney story, bro. Stop it, David.
No, I'm not saying the gap. I'm saying they are the outright. For me, they are the outright favourites.
But not by that much.
For me, they are. Okay. No. Everything about this game tells me that they are going to win. Everything about this game.
What I will say is, what hasn't been mentioned, or what I'm seeing a lot in the comments is people talking about, and there's two things really. People talking about Pep's record in finals. Look, I'm not paying attention to that. Obviously, experience in finals is great, but if you've managed Barcelona and Bayern Munich, you're winning 80% of your finals anyway. So I'm not too focused on that. And then, second of all, in terms of the point that was mentioned, in terms of the Pep and the Tuchel tactical battle, look, I expect Tuchel to respond effectively to anything that happens, and I expect Pep to respond effectively to what happens within the game. We've seen some of the tactical adjustments that Tuchel has made. Those are the things that you can kind of take into the final, not the actual result. The fact that Tuchel's been able to respond to certain things that Pep has done, and Pep has also tried to respond to things that Tuchel has done. So I take confidence in the fact that we won't play 100 minutes and then bring on Christensen like Oli.
It's Tuchel. It's Tuchel. Is Tuchel a better tactician than Pep?
No, look, they're in the same. I think they're in the same category. I don't know who's better. I mean, maybe you want to take Pep because Pep's been doing it for longer and has won a plethora of trophies, but I think they're in the same category in terms of the tactical battle for sure, because Tuchel has shown that he is a tactician. That is what his whole system is predicated.
Is he more equipped in certain situations with his team?
We'll see, man. We'll see. Look, I'm excited for the spectacle, innit? I'm not necessarily saying we're gonna win. I'm in the same, but not. Obviously, I don't think it's Villarreal and Man United, but I'm in the same boat as David. I don't expect us to win that game. I just don't see how we do it. Honestly, I don't. Honest to God,
I think we will win.
I'll get roasted for it. I'll get roasted for it, but fam, I just can't see it.
If we win this, if we win this will be the most detached I've ever felt from a team. Like, do you remember 2012 when we won it? Like, I loved every single player. Now I don't really care about.
You're gonna have to kiss Timo Werner's foot, Anita. All that slating. Scores the winner.
This team embarrassed me in an FA Cup final. Ever since that FA Cup final, I've just looked at this team with disgust. Like, you're capable of playing like that in the final.
Could you imagine after this whole season, like Timo Werner scores the winning goal and it's like a funny screamer.
Could have happened.
Things like that happen in football. You know, look at, they're not winners in the final, but look at Ziyech. Some of the important goals he's got in your cup runs this year, where he just out of nowhere picked up a goal. And I think, you know, those things can certainly happen. We're going to get onto later in terms of who we think is going to win. We're going to have a few chats about both teams and who should start in positions. I mean, Chelsea's front line, who bloody knows? I don't know if Tuchel knows right now who's got to play in that. But we're going to look at the combined 11. And as it stands right now, I've sort of put it into a 3-4-3 for now. It's an interesting.
I'm sorry, this is an insult. This is an absolute insult.
Get Bernardo Silva out of that team.
Get
By the way,
By the way,
1 second. It's just the base. It's just the base. Just don't stress about it too much. Just the base as far as it's concerned. Let's start off with the goalkeeper then. I'm going to go to Anita first. Who should be the goalie?
I don't want to be shameless, but who's had the better run in the Champions League at the moment? I think Mendy has had the better run. However, I'm still say Edison because I'm not going to be shameless.
No.
Oh, what? We're being shameless. Okay, cool. Mendy then. Mendy, let's go.
It's not even a shameless thing. It's not.
Are you dumb? Do you know Edison in the final can get an assist? You do know that easily. Yeah. Very, very easily he can get an assist. Like, he will score a penalty as well. Like,
you know what's underrated though? Do you know what's underrated? Let me tell you. Of course, no one's got Edison's kicking ability and he can get an assist and all of that. But Mendy's a good keeper with his feet as well. You know, it's so underrated that factor of his game. He actually is under pressure. He knows how to get the ball out.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the basics of a goalkeeper. Under pressure, yeah. If you're good with your feet, especially when you're a team that play out from the back, you have to be good with your feet. Edison takes it to another level. I'm so sorry, Edison. If I had Edison,
do you know what Mendy's shown me?
Come on, man.
Do you know what Mendy's shown me actually more than what Edison offers is clutch moments, them clutch saves, and he's done it a number of times this season for Chelsea. Saves where I'm like, how the hell did he just do that? Yeah, and the last time I saw a goalie of that caliber being able to do that at Chelsea was Peter Cech for me. Like being able to do them kind of saves. I'm not saying he's Peter Cech. Everyone don't have a blooming fit, yeah, right? No, it's just. It reminds me of them clutch saves that he does.
Edison's had some clutch saves as well. We just don't see him all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, Yang, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen some clutch moments from Edison. Like, I can't.
The only problem with Edison. No, Yan, you go. You know more Edison about than I do. You go.
No, I was gonna say it. You know what? I know Edison's had his criticism over the years. Like, he has got the Golden Glove, but people do say it's Man City's defense, even though last season our defense wasn't great, but it is what it is. People do say it's that, but I think this season more than ever, I've seen Edison make them saves. You know, where it is close between the two, like especially in the Champions League. You know, there's been times where he's, you know, made saves at important times in the game, more so than he normally would. So, I don't know. I think this season, Edison's actually been really good. I think he's a little bit underrated by opposition fans, because every time you kind of try and put Edison's name in the hat, people always say, oh, no, my keeper's better because of that and the other. I did see some stats the other day, and it's like expected save per keeper, and I know it's not legitimate fact, but, you know, Edison is kind of high up in that list. So it shows that he does do what he's supposed to do. But I think with Edison, when he does make a mistake, it's a little bit more noticeable. He tends to make a big mistake when he does make a mistake, and I think that sticks in people's minds. And I think that's what it is. But he's been good for us this season. I can't really big him up.
If you're going based on stats, people, then you've got to give it to Edison. He's got 3 more clean sheets than Mendy, so that's all.
Mendy's the toppest clean sheet goalkeeper.
He's got 18. Mendy's got 16.
In the Champions League.
I'm sorry.
On this, just to round it up.
not a debate.
Just to round it up, Anita, final say, you're going to stick with Edison?
I'm sticking with Edison, yeah.
Sticking with Edison. So, Jem, we're up to you next. You're going to pick the right-hand-sided centre-back. We've currently got Kyle Walker in the spot, but who are you picking for that position?
See, this is annoying because what I would have done is put Diaz there and put Rudiger left wing. I'd put Rudiger left centre back.
Then do that then.
Do that then. Do that. Because then I ain't got to choose. Diaz is already on there, isn't he? So just move Diaz to the right. That's what I would do.
And you want Rudiger in Walker's position, or what you want? So you want that way around? I mean, okay. Okay, we can get that done. How many centre backs? How many Chelsea centre backs, Jem, would you put into this team?
You had to ask me this one, didn't you? Silva, Rudiger.
That's it.
That's it. I ain't going to say Christensen. But if I don't say Christensen, everyone thinks I've got an agenda. But no, I'm going to say Silva and Rudiger. That's it. Yeah.
So I've made your move there. Rudiger's been put in, which is cool. Going to go to Daniel next. Would you change those centre backs at all? Would you make any changes to it?
No, I'm happy with that.
Okay. How about yourself, David?
I would try and make an argument for Aspi at centre back, but for some reason, Tuchel's not playing him there. He plays him at wing back, so no, I'm not going to make any changes.
And Jan, I mean, John Stones, would you put him in over Rudiger or Silva?
Jan, don't you dare.
Do you know what? John Stones, he's another one. He's so underrated by opposition fans. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you watch his performances, he's actually much better than people give him credit for. To be honest, I think Rudiger's been really good, especially in the Champions League. And it is a bit hard to argue against Thiago Silva, but yeah, I don't know. Man City play a back four, you see, so it's quite hard. Maybe if we had a left back and a right back, I think Man City, you could have an argument for the right back, because I think Walker, especially in the Champions League, has been really good. Cancelo earlier in the season was very, very good as well. So I think if it was a back four, it would probably be 2 Chelsea, 2 City. But I think in a back three, because we don't play like that, it's quite hard to kind of get City players in. So
I do hear you on that one. So what we'll do, I'll go to Jan next. Jan, I'll give you first pick in the midfield. Which of those? So obviously you've got James and Cancelo in there as fullbacks as opposed to midfielders. Yeah. Would you keep those as your fullbacks, or would you change either?
If we're going to play like that, in that formation, it would be Cancelo for sure. And then if we're playing in that sort of formation, then I would put Cancelo in there. So yeah, that's fine.
and what about James? Would you pick Walker or James?
It's a tough one because James has done quite well. I think Walker's been really good, but I don't know if I'd put both. I'm not really biased, you see, so I wouldn't put both Man City. I think Man City definitely have more going forward rather than defensively. So yeah, that's fine. That works.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure the Chelsea contingent not going to move anybody. But David, I'll ask you the question: Reece James or Kyle Walker?
For the wing back role, I'm choosing Reece James. I think he's just a more versatile attacker, because I feel like Kyle Walker's very much get down the byline and chip it in and hope that someone gets on the end of it, whereas Reece James can be a bit more creative. He's got a better cross on him, I think. I think Reece James's crossing is really underrated. Like, if our strikers could actually get in the right position, Reece James would have about 7 or 8 assists, because his whipping is so good. It's so good for a fullback. But yeah, Reece James for me goes in above Kyle Walker.
Fair enough. Okay, so moving to the central midfield areas, Daniel, what you doing with central midfield?
I take up Fernandinho. I put Gundogan there with Kante. Or no, De Bruyne would go in the Fernandinho role, and then Gundogan. Yeah, and someone else would do that. But yeah, De Bruyne. So De Bruyne would go in the Fernandinho role. You
put him in there.
Yeah.
One problem with this picking mechanism on the BBC is you can't put a player in the same position twice, if that makes sense. So you have to do that. I've done. That's cool. That's cool. So I moved him out and put him in there. How about yourself, Jan? I'll go back to you on this one, midfield wise. I mean, you got with Kante and De Bruyne, or would you pick a different pairing?
I definitely have Kante in there. I think I would have probably done it how you did it and have De Bruyne as a forward and then put like a Gundogan in there. Because I think particularly in the Champions League, Gundogan over the years, even when Man City haven't been great, he's always been decent for Man City in the Champions League. So yeah, I think I'd definitely put Gundogan in there. And obviously I'll put De Bruyne up front as a false nine because that's how I think he will play.
What I was thinking is because because Gundogan's kind of played as the false nine for you this season more than BB, so just thinking that, innit?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
David, I want to come to David next on this because I want to. Do you know what's interesting? The BBC don't actually give you the option to put Gundogan in a forward position. I just checked. There's how much they don't watch. David, where does Mason Mount fit into this team, David?
He doesn't. Quite simply, he does not fit into this team.
Yeah.
Over who though? This is
I'll tell you
again.
Morris.
I don't have an agenda against Mason Mount, but he is not better than Kevin De Bruyne. He's not better than Kante. He's not better than Phil Foden. He's not better than Riyad Mahrez. So where does he go?
Based on this season,
what? Is he really?
He's better than Morris. He's better than Morris.
What?
This
is where my confidence comes.
Wait.
Mason
Jem, have you watched Man City's campaign in the Champions League? Have you watched how Mahrez has pulled it out of his ass every single game for Man City? Every game.
To be fair, we based this on the Champions League, haven't we? And if I remember rightly, against PSG, he scored the 2 goals, didn't he? I forgot about that.
Hang on, Jem's backtracking here. Just
I'm basing it on the whole season.
Because I said it, everyone instantly went, nah, David, he's just hating on Mount. He's not better than those 4 attackers. He isn't. So how can he go in this squad? He can't. He just can't.
Why is Bernardo Silva there, though? I don't get that.
Well,
he's not. We haven't got to it. It's just there. It's just there. I clicked on a name to take someone out, so I wouldn't get to that. In terms of the attacking line, though, because the attacking line's a difficult one, isn't it? I put Phil Foden in there. Mahrez in there. Bernardo's the ringer right now. He's definitely coming out. Will anyone change either inside forward?
No.
Can I just mention we haven't looked at left wing back, have we? Or did you guys do that when I was gone?
Done that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
you guys chose Cancelo over Chilwell.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right, no problem.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'd choose Chilwell, but I'm just biased.
I'll choose Chilwell as well.
Really?
It's not because I'm biased.
Why would you pick Chilwell? I'm interested.
Because Cancelo leaves too much bloody space behind him, always drifting into midfield. I'm so sorry. If you want a solid team with a solid defense, you're not choosing Cancelo. I'm so sorry. I wholeheartely disagree. He leaves way too much space in behind him. Way too much.
I think they've had similar. I think we're more looking at who's had the better season, isn't it? Like constructing the perfect team, and they've had similar seasons. But when you look at both of their peaks, because they both had good moments and then bad moments. If you look at both of their peaks, I think Cancelo's had a better peak than Chilwell this season.
Cancelo's had a better peak because he's been playing midfield. Like I'm so sorry. I'm having Chilwell there. I'm so sorry.
For me personally, I think Cancelo's been the best fullback in the Premier League this year. Personally. I'm being genuinely. I think Cancelo's been that good.
Terry, can you put the thingy back up just really quickly?
Yeah, of course can.
In this team, can you see Cancelo?
Do you know what though? It's the formation. If Man City plays like this,
Go on, Jan.
Just cut out.
no, I was sorry, my internet's a bit bad, but I think if Man City played in a back 5, Cancelo would have a different sort of season, if you know what I mean. Because I think the way we play, it's like a back 4, and because we play so high, he does get exposed, but the whole City back line can get exposed, if you know what I mean. So I think it's more that. But Cancelo was very good. I think he's fallen off recently, and I think because of that, he's kind of not getting the ratings that he probably would have got 6 months ago. Do you know what I mean? or even 3 months ago.
Yeah, it does feel like it was sort of. I remember sort of the middle sort of third of the season. That Cancelo's name was everywhere. People were just talking about. I remember he came on in the FA Cup game against a team down, I don't know, League Two. I remember City fans just salivating over how good he was, and I just thought that was a bit weird because it was against such a small team. But we got called out on that as well, Jim. We got these big accounts where we're going mad. Was it Esteemed Company? Shared it and was like, I don't know who this man is. Talking about me. I'm like, yes, you do. You little liar.
We both got it. We both got it.
Yeah, we laugh. Yeah, we laugh. No, just actually, like, I watch his channel. I'm a if you don't know who I am, I'm a subscriber, bro. I do subscribe to your channel. You're a good guy. But yeah, it's an interesting one in terms of Cancelo. There's a super chat here from Lengon Sweet though. That's had he say early and said you're disrespecting.
Yeah, literally, I would put Zinchenko there too.
You know what I was going to actually say? I was actually going to say that Cancelo was very, very good up to sort of a few months ago when he fell off. But Zinchenko, in the past couple of games, like, you saw him against PSG when he came in, he inspired the win. So I'm not against it.
If we're putting Zinchenko there, I'm having Chilwell.
I'm having
Chilwell.
I'm having Chilwell over Zinchenko. I'm sorry. When Zinchenko came on in that Premier League game, he was getting toasted. Benjamin Mendy came off and City came on, and they were both of them. Like
Zinchenko looks like I played with him at uni or something. Like he's not.
Yeah, like that.
You guys are disrespectful. I'm having Chilwell there anyway. I'm just saying. I don't think Cancelo or Zinchenko need to be there. I think I'm having Chilwell. And on top of that, if you talk about which wing back, putting them as wing backs would have more of an impact, it will be Chilwell. Chilwell will probably get in the final third a bit more, and he'll probably have more chance of scoring a goal for us. So
and he'll defend better.
Chilwell, and he will defend better. He will track back a lot better than both.
I hear that. Langan Sweet has put a super chat in and he's put Zinchenko in there. Chelsea fans, you know what you need to do if you want to change that. In terms of picking this front line, let's go to the striker debate. Maybe we'll look at the inside forwards and chat about them in a minute. But in terms of striker, I mean, is this is quite a hard one to pick? Yeah. Is it not? Is it you going before? No, because no one's no striker that you want in there. That's what I mean. Like there isn't a striker that you would go to. Who would you pick? Who would be your choice?
Considering they're going to play a false nine, let's just put the boy in there and keep it stepping because there's no one else I'm going to choose. You can choose Havertz all you want, whatever. But...
I think our key to winning this final, if we are, is going to be Havertz. I think Havertz is the most, like, genuinely.
I think people disrespect Ziyech so much. Ziyech got up here. Like, you guys disrespect him way too much in the Champions League.
He deserves the disrespect. He's lazy. Yeah.
Too much. But anyway, carry on with what you were saying.
He's performed in one of our big Champions League games, so you can't say that. It was against
whatever.
Just whatever. Ziyech is, and this notion, sorry, because it's going off topic, but this notion that Ziyech is a big game player needs to stop as well. Like it really needs to stop. It's not true. It's actually not true. Like if you want the stats,
if Ziyech has an impact in the game on Saturday, Daniel, I want you to come on here. No. I want to come on here and apologize for that statement. If he has a big game on Saturday, I will come on here.
I want the same apology.
The biggest
game. I won't do that.
I want the same apology from you guys if Timo Werner was the winner as well, man.
Just because Ziyech performs in the Champions League final, like you want me to come and apologize for something that he should have been doing all season?
No, because you're saying he's not a big game player.
Say that again?
You're saying he's not a big game player.
He's not a big game player.
He performed in the biggest game of our season.
In the Champions League final doesn't mean you're a big game player. Federico Mercado won Man United the Premier League. Is he a big game player?
Yes.
I'm going to be honest.
If you want me to be shameless, yes. Clearly, you want to be shameless.
Does he deserve a start on the front three in your eyes? Who starts then? Go on.
For Chelsea or in this?
Chelsea.
In this.
No, in the Champions League final.
No, Chelsea.
Yeah, who would you pick? Who would you pick? Yeah, who would you put in your Chelsea front three?
You are not picking Ziyech to start.
Wait. All I'm saying is, if Tuchel doesn't even know, why are you asking me? Don't ask me them questions.
No.
Tuchel don't know. I don't know.
Answer the question. No, Anita, answer.
Huh?
Come on.
Y'all can ask me these questions.
Your preference. Just say it. Just
Then
say
how
it.
am I supposed to
If
know?
you're saying if you're the manager on Saturday, who are you picking in the front
No,
three? It's quite a simple
unfortunately,
question.
David, I am not the manager.
Leo, stop it. Come on. Just
Yeah,
say
no, Diaz doesn't start for me, but still, he's still a big game player. Leave me alone.
Well done.
Who is? Who would you, Daniel? Who would you pick? Who's your starting front three for Chelsea?
Kante, and Kante.
No, I could give you the answer. It's easy.
Do you know where I'd start? I'd actually start Kai. I'd start Kai. I'd start Timo, and I'd start Mount. I'd start them three.
Yes, that's what I would have done.
That's what I'm going with as well. Yeah, that's it. There you go.
That's an interesting one here. We've
mentioned.
had a super chat here that we'll put the team up that says, mate, put KDB in the false nine and Gundogan in the middle as CM. Stop the biased nonsense. So that's Gundogan in the middle. KDB's been put into that striker role there.
What we did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much what we did anyway.
Yeah.
When another super chat that's come in says, put Mendy in over Edison. Chelsea fans are stepping up here and they're putting their players in. Mendy goes into the team now. It's been done.
Caballero there.
No. Willy
Why? Because it's
Caballero
BBC
will
with this everyone, won't
I know,
they?
it's just
I'm
funny,
telling you
innit?
now,
We've got
Willy
to play games.
Caballero, if it goes to penalty shootouts, Willy Caballero's got to be in
He's
goal.
coming.
He's got to be in goal because Mendy, when it comes to penalties, is David De Gea.
He's shocking.
He's so bad.
Terry's
so
throwing
bad.
up. Terry's throwing up.
Good evening.
He had penalties and said, "You know what? Though? Let's be serious though. This is a serious point I want to make, and it's being overlooked. Mendy, if it goes to penalties, Mendy can't be in goal, and I'm saying that like now he can't be in goal for penalties because he doesn't dive. No, he's not a penalty
He
shot.
doesn't dive. He just falls on the middle of the floor.
The Aguero penalty, yeah, the Aguero penalty. He's so lucky because he didn't dive. He didn't know that was going in the middle. He did not know. He doesn't dive. He never dives for penalties. It's so jarring. So he can't be in goal. I'm sorry. I'd rather have
You know
Kevin.
what, Dan? That's great. That's great. It's great. We used to do exactly the same thing. Exactly the
Kevin
same
would
thing.
dive the right way. Kevin would dive the right way and still let the ball go past him.
Yeah, the good thing is about the Champions League is you got 5 subs and you can make a 6th in extra time anyway. So you actually got the opportunity with 6 subs. Like you've got the chance of doing that, and it's actually what. If Ollie had a brain, that's what he would have done last night. Because I didn't know this, but I've read that Henderson's quite good actually at penalty save.
David De Gea has the same 26 penalties.
He was shocking. He was so bad.
It was bad.
He's a goalkeeper.
You know what it was?
Geronimo. His name was Geronimo.
You see, when he stepped up to the spot, yeah, I knew it. Like I actually knew it. Like this guy's not gonna score. He didn't even look bothered, fam. Like he just stepped up.
Well,
gave it a little tap.
No, the most painful thing. The most painful thing is obviously I was getting thumbnails ready because the worst thing when I'm watching my team trying to get the show ready, right? So I was like pausing every time a United player was kicking it to either capture the shot of the skull going in, the winner, or like the miss type thing, right? I was a little bit behind and I moved my cursor and it came up and it showed the red cross through the ball. And I knew he missed before he took it. I was so sad, right? I had this moment where I just sunk in my chair with sadness. I was like, oh no, it's horrible.
Yesterday, though, the quality of penalties, that is the highest quality of pens. I've seen the 11th keeper's putting it top corner. I was mad.
Valencia, all of them
placing them in the corner and like just.
I'm 100% sure, that every single Valencia player practiced those penalties and every single one. Where they were gonna Villarreal, where they were gonna go, exactly what spot they were gonna put it in. I'm so sure they practiced it because that was absolutely beautiful.
Terry, would you piss?
My dad was like, Coquelin's definitely gonna miss, and then the way he put it in so beautiful.
But that was what even with Man United. Ironically, some of Man United's better penalty takers, their penalties were average, but they went in. But it was like the way Tuanzebe and Dan James put their penalties away because they were the ones where I was like, these guys are losing it for us. They were so good, and it got to De Gea, and I knew he was going to miss, especially after their goalkeeper. put it top bins. There's almost that if their goalkeeper would have scraped it in, I think De Gea would have had some confidence. It was their keeper maybe took the best one of the night. So you were going to say something, Jim?
No, just a quick one. I was just saying, when you saw the substitutions later in the extra time, and you saw like the likes of Mata and Dan James coming on, what was going through your mind? Did you actually think we're going to win this on penalties with the guys that were coming on, or was you like the complete opposite? Like, how did you feel?
I only feel that you should play for penalties if you're the weaker team. I think mentality-wise, what Ollie did, he defeated the players. There was this element of we didn't make a sub in normal time, and every sub we made was defensive. We brought on one Mata and Tellers with a few kicks to go with the game. They could have been using it in an attacking way. You know, you could have taken Bruno off at 80 minutes. He wasn't doing anything, and one Mata may have been able to open them up. That's what was annoying me. Everything we did was negative, and both your teams are going to go into this massive final, and I don't think your managers are stupid enough to do it. But if you go 90 minutes and you're drawing, and you don't make it, you don't try to win it. That for me is the painful bit, and that's what I was more annoyed about, I think, than anything. Is we were the strongest team by far, and we didn't try to win. And we had the opportunity in that game to make 6 substitutions, and we didn't do. And we had 6 players that you could look at as an attacking way. You know, give a Mad a go. Give a Mad a go. But anyway, I'm going to start ranting if I'm thinking about it.
I find it really crazy, because I feel like in that situation, I know Thomas Tuchel would have done a mad thing. Like, I know Thomas Tuchel would have taken out all of our midfielders and put in attacking options straight. Like, I know that would have happened. Like, I felt sorry for you guys. Once I saw Pogba coming off for Dan James, I was like, this is surprising. Okay.
I'm so lucky we're not recorded here, because obviously when we knew Dan James was coming on because Rashi looked injured, and we just all assumed Rashford. And then the commentators are like, said Rashford's coming off, right? And I was, again, I'm working, I'm getting it ready. And then Pogba's drinking drink, and I focused on him. And I felt myself, I went, Pogba. Like, no one can hear me. I went, Pogba. Nah, I'm saying this out loud. And then when they confirmed it, I was like, fucking Pogba. Because, you know what? We got to a point in that game where it was only going to be won by individual brilliance at that point. It's something brilliant. It doesn't matter how bad or good Pogba's been. One drop of the shoulder, one shot, and it can change things. And it was just like, it made no sense. Villarreal weren't even attacking us. You could have taken off David De Gea, and they weren't going to attack us and score. Like, we might have won with them.
They had a counter attack, and no one was countering. Like, it was just that one person.
There was one time they had a counter attack. Legit. There was Lindelof, and the whole other side of the pitch was free, and the guy made a run, still played it backwards. And I was like, how are they not winning this game?
That's Chelsea.
How you didn't win that game?
Pure pain. Honestly, it is just, do you know what it is? I wish that it was somebody else's team that it happened to. Do you know what I mean? Because I would love to have lost. But
you got to hold the most embarrassing loss of a final this season.
Do you know what's crazy as well? No,
Europa League.
Beyond, you know what's really embarrassing about it? Is Liverpool and Arsenal fans have had crap years, but they're happy in us right now. And it's like, how did we allow that to happen, man? How? We had some more super chats here. First one from City fan here says, put Ederson back in over Mendy. Mendy's out. Ederson is back in this team as selected there. There's been another super chat that's come through from Mido that has said, put Stones in over Silva. So Stones is going into this team now over Silva. We've had another super chat. I don't know what it says yet. We're going to get to it in a second. It says, pop in Mount over De Bruyne. Oh, look at that. Everyone's chirping in now and doing the thing. Mason Mount's in the team. Dave, don't cry, mate. Don't cry. Mount's been put in the team. We'll have a little look now at what the viewers have done to that team now. I mean,
oh, by the way, if Mason Mount wins this game, the agenda goes. I will never say a bad word about Mount again if he won the final.
David, can we just confirm quickly, because you've just made a big statement there, right? Does that mean him having to score a goal or having an influence on the game?
So if Mason Mount scores the winning goal, not penalty, I'm not going to count that, because that could be Kepa for all we know. If he scores the winning goal, like out in the game, I will never say a bad thing about Mason Mount.
Hang on a minute. You just admitted something. You said the agenda. So you do have an agenda.
The agenda will go. Like, I won't even speak on him. Even if he has a bad game, I'll just sit there and just be like,
all right, cool. I get that. Bang and Sweet here has come back in again. He wants Reece James out, and he wants Cancelo into the team. That's what we've done there, sir. We made that change as well. Thank you for that super chat. In terms of your team tomorrow night, Jan, Man City, is it going to be a case of just pick the obvious team, or is there sort of something we're missing as sort of non-City fans that needs to happen in terms of, say, your front three? Would you go with Aguero or would you go with the false nine? Where you at? I mean, Aguero's hate it. Nothing. You just keep it as it is.
There's an exact team that needs to play if we want to win. Don't get me wrong. You could maybe switch one player, but it's got to be pretty much Ederson in goal, obviously. It's got to be Walker, Diaz, Stones, Zinchenko, Gundogan, Fernandinho holding, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and then a front three of Foden, Mahrez, and De Bruyne as a false nine. It has to be that team, because if it isn't, don't get me wrong, like he can maybe swap Bernardo for De Bruyne or little changes like that. But I think that's got to be the team, because that same team played against PSG. And I think that was our best performance in the Champions League. I know the concern would be with the referee. He's not a big lover of our club. And also, he is likely to send Fernandinho off. So I think Fernandinho would need to be careful. But I just think he's the strongest player we have at stopping like counter-attacking football. And I just think we need him. We need Walker, because Werner was causing us nightmares last time. We need Kyle Walker. He's got the pace. He might not be the best defender, makes mistakes, but that pace, we need Kyle Walker. So it has to be that exact team. If Pep doesn't play that team, I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit.
You know what I would say, though? Do you know what I would say quickly to add, though, is I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, I think this is going to be Man City's toughest game. Like, although we're saying we don't think we will win and whatnot, let's think about who they played in the Champions League. I mean, they didn't really have any great tests in the group stages. Played Mönchengladbach in the last 16. A Dortmund side who didn't have Jadon Sancho, and Haaland didn't really get service to really show what he was capable of. And Haaland is a striker that requires service. Never got that. Obviously, they played PSG in the first leg. Of course, we know what happened in that. I think they got a red card in the first leg as well. And then, obviously, second leg, they didn't have Mbappe and then got a red card again. So, look, I just think this is going to be...
The thing is, I get what you're saying, but I think Man City had a tougher run than Chelsea, if we're being honest. When you got that side, Real Madrid, okay, fair enough, Real Madrid or whatever, but we knocked them out last season. Yeah. You can't tell me that Porto were harder than Dortmund. You were happy when you got that for a reason.
Atletico Madrid were top at the time.
And Chelsea fans were saying,
I disagree. What I would say is, Atletico Madrid were top of La Liga. No one expected us to beat Atletico Madrid. Let's just put that.
No, I agree with that. I agree with Atletico Madrid, but I think Atletico Madrid was probably your hardest game.
Dan,
you have to weigh it out, though.
Dan, I've got to stop the cap, bruv, because I sat here and I'm not sure if you were on the panel for this, right? You lot were all saying we should be looked at as almost second favourites now because all the big teams are going to knock each other out on the other side. No. So Dan, listen, your opinion might be different, but the majority of Chelsea fans, when that draw happened, celebrated. The fact you celebrated it says your ride was easier.
No, they're wrong. They're wrong then, because you have to wait. One sec. One sec. I'm not doing anything, bro. You have to think about it like this. Let's weigh it out equally. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Porto, Mönchengladbach, Dortmund, and PSG. What side would you rather take? Am I bugging out? I'm actually not bugging out.
Because if we're being honest, PSG and Bayern Munich were the two favourites. They were the two favourites. When you didn't draw them on this side, I've done streams with Chelsea fans, and they were happy to get your side of the draw.
No, but you don't play. You don't play PSG and Bayern.
Are difficult, but Real Madrid this season and last season haven't been the same. Man City beat Real Madrid comfortably last season. It wasn't one of them games where we scraped it in the dying seconds. We actually beat Real Madrid, and Real Madrid, you could argue last season they had Ramos in both legs. I know he got sent off, I think, in the second leg or whatever, or he was unavailable. I can't remember, but it's one of them things. I just think PSG for me were the favourites going into this year. And when we got PSG, everyone on this stream, because I was on this stream before, saying Man City were out. Everyone was saying that. So I think overall, you might look at 3 games, but if you said who were the toughest team to play, you would have said PSG. And we played PSG and beat them.
So you had, but this is what I'm saying. This is why
harder than Porto and the harder than Atletico.
Go on, sorry, go on, Anita.
Oh yeah,
sorry, Anita was waiting. Go on, Anita.
Okay. Oh, hi, Anita here. Daniel, I'm just gonna have to tell you to stop the cap. I'm just putting this out there. Yeah, it's not even just about who Man City played. The fact that there was a possibility of us playing Bayern Munich as well. Yeah, that's where I know you're capping, because really and truly, wait, really and truly, yeah, on our end we're playing Porto, and then possibly Liverpool or Real Madrid. Now, Liverpool, the decline was there for everybody to see. Real Madrid, the decline was there for everybody to see. We fancied our chances for either one of them. Do you understand? We fancied our chances for either one of them. And Porto, we came into it, we said, we're going to beat Porto. You know, like, we may have underestimated how good Porto were. Don't get me wrong. I think Porto, they weren't as easy as it seems to be on paper. Don't get it twisted. However, if we had played against Dortmund, I think we would have probably won that match. If we had played against PSG, I'm not sure if our defense would have been able to handle it. Because we've seen now in recent times when they're putting that much pressure on our defense, they are going to make mistakes and they're going to find gaps in between, especially with Pochettino as their manager as well, who's also not the best tactically, but he has the resources with him. I personally don't know who would have been there to stop Mbappe, because Conte would have had to be doing whatever he could do to stop Neymar. Right. And if we had got Bayern Munich also, I wouldn't have fancied our chances either, because at the point we got, it was Lewandowski back during PSG Man City.
Yes, he was.
During PSG Man City, Lewandowski was back. So if we had got Bayern Munich with Lewandowski, it would have been the same thing as last season. I wouldn't have watched.
Can I respond to that?
Go on, mate.
My point is, you can't make a point as to a tougher run based on possibilities. That's not into the equation. You base it off of who each team has played. It's not about who we could have played. At the end of the day, this is who we played, and we're talking about the run in game out. I don't know if I was on that stream where we were talking about what side of the draw you'd rather be on. Even if I was, and I said I'd rather be on one side of the draw, that's based on the possibilities. But now we're talking about the inevitable, and we've seen what has happened and how it's played out. Atletico Madrid, we're talking about PSG. You're talking about what team we could have lost to, which fair enough on their side. PSG, yeah, you can make the argument we could have lost to PSG, but I'd make the argument at the time when Atletico Madrid were at their best, that's the worst team Man City could have possibly faced. They wouldn't have wanted to face a low block Atletico Madrid who wanted to play on the counter. That could have been the perfect team to beat Man City out of all the teams that have played in the Champions League. And that is literally the style of play we're really going to put up.
I think everybody said that. Atletico Madrid was a very tough game. A lot of people didn't expect you to get through it. But the majority of you that forget who you could have got. The fact that you played Porto and Real Madrid, there wasn't a Chelsea fan who came onto these streams, onto these shows, in the comments that was like, I am so scared. I am so worried. I am so panicky. It was like, oh, we can do them. And the other side of the draw, City fans didn't feel like that. Nobody did.
I think PSG were the hardest opponents out of the two that have played. Of course. But I do think they had an easier run than we did, because Borussia Mönchengladbach didn't even qualify for Conference League. They had an awful season.
So wait, are we talking about from group stage forward? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I'm even talking about knockouts.
So we're talking from group stage or what? Semi-final?
Even knockout. And
the entire run, basically.
No, the knockouts. So last year, quarterfinals.
And again, as someone who watches Dortmund a lot, I sat here and told you Dortmund ain't winning this game. I was like,
still, if you just weigh it up real quick, because we have got to move on. Atletico or Mönchengladbach, we know which one's a harder game. But I would rather play Porto than Dortmund. And
No Sancho, no Witsel.
Right, okay, but
They
then,
had Haaland though, Dan. Still, that's saying something.
no, but didn't Porto have like one of their best strikers missing for one of the games as well?
Yeah, the first game.
It's the same in both directions. You know what I
And
mean?
he came back and then they won.
You would much rather this year's Real Madrid over. You'd much rather play this year's Real Madrid over PSG. Because Daniel, you were the one that was smoking up all that PSG, best individual players. You were back. You never said that about Real Madrid. Come on, bro. You know you didn't. You sat here and said that.
I don't think we'll be around this.
Nice. We have a super chat here. Sorry, from the silent whisper era, who says, "Can we just take a moment to acknowledge City bought Zinchenko for £1 million before Pep did a delf on him, and he's still better than Benjamin Mendy. 1 million. That's a good sign for £1 million. That's pretty good." Dinesh here says, "Afternoon. Pot 2 in the Champions League looks interesting with Liverpool, Real Madrid, Man United, PSG, Juve, and Barca." Well, that's great. We at least my club can't get any of those teams. I'm happy about that this year. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was saying. Pot 1 is harder than Pot 2 this season. It's gonna be tough because Pot 2 has got most of the big teams in it.
Villarreal are in Pot 1. You'd want them.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, you took them from Conference League Pot 1 to Champions League Pot 1. That's United.
There's no we today. There's no we. It's not me. I didn't do that. Chelsea would have bottled it against Dortmund, is what this Manchester City fan here thinks. We've got 5 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to make any changes to this team, Mason Mount's in there, City fans. I don't know if you're happy about that or not. But let us know. John Stones is in there, Chelsea fans. Let us know what you think and feel. We're going to do score predictions while we're waiting. It's going to be. Oh, actually, we've got someone backstage. I didn't see him until now. Igal is here. What are you saying, Igal?
I wanted to come on because Daniel, you're talking the loudest cap, bro. I don't know where you're coming from. Do you remember we were on the same stream? Anita was saying to me, "You need to stop, Igal, because we have a better route, and that's all we're happy about." And you're saying, "I'm happy," and you're celebrating, just like everybody else. So now you're acting like you weren't celebrating the fact that you drew Porto and you got an easier set of the draw. That's crazy to me. Anyways.
Can I respond to that?
I'm not done. Credit to you guys. I'm not coming here to throw salt. You guys win the Champions League. I'm gonna come on here, take all the criticism and everything, because I criticize you guys all year. And you know what? Big up to you guys getting to a final. I hope Man City win. I think Man City will win. But I just wanted to come on here and say, yo, Daniel, I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Well, let me tell you what I'm talking about. If you listen to what I was saying and explaining, I wasn't talking about the possibilities. The possibilities, of course, when we're talking about routes to the final, changed. It means there are options. There are options because you can face either Team A or Team B, meaning that you want to take the option where there's an easier route to the final. When you actually look at the teams that we played to get to the final, I'm factoring in the best team that both teams played was PSG. So Man City obviously have the best team, but Man City also faced the worst team, which was Mönchengladbach. So you need to factor it in equally and look at what route was harder. And of course, our route was harder because Real Madrid, yes, you want to add context to it, but Real Madrid are still a good team. Atletico Madrid are still a good team. So we faced two good teams. If I asked you who's winning, Real Madrid or Dortmund, who would you say?
Say it again.
Who's winning, Real Madrid or Dortmund?
That's a hypothetical.
Dortmund.
Yes, of course.
Jem, I'll tell you for free. They ain't winning.
Dortmund are not beating Real Madrid. Stop lying to yourself.
With Sancho on the pitch, Sancho and Haaland.
What did I say to you? What did I say to you when the draw happened? When the draw happened, I said to you,
I'm not talking about
you guys are happy.
I'm not
No. Hear me out.
The team.
You missed the perfect comeback there, but I'm not going to give you the assist. You missed the perfect comeback. You missed the perfect comeback to get down on his own argument because he said about you can't do hypotheticals, and he just gave an example to beat your point with a hypothetical. That was where you won the debate there. But you didn't see it. Listen, I appreciate it. Gal, I've got a question for you though, bruv. How desperate are you for City to win tomorrow? Because how old are Arsenal Football Club per se? Like circular, how old are they?
What is that? 100 and I don't even know. What was it? 18 something? Forget exactly.
120, 130 years old, something like that, right?
Yeah.
if Chelsea get 2 Champions Leagues, how many years do you think it's going to take Arsenal to catch them? Considering you're 120 odd years old and you don't have 1 Champions League, are you desperate for City to win tomorrow?
Of course, I want City to win, but either way, an English team is going to get another Champions League, and that hurts regardless. But I'd rather City win because I don't want Chelsea to get their second, and I'd rather City have 1 and Chelsea have 1 because realistically, it's easier to catch up to 1 than it is to catch up to 2.
Can you just say it, Agal? Let's be serious. If Chelsea win that Champions League on Saturday, we then become a bigger club than Arsenal Football Club.
Okay, and if City win the Champions League, they are technically a bigger club than Chelsea.
Oh, here we go. Why?
We will have this conversation on Saturday because one of you's winning. This conversation happens on Saturday after the game. Igal, thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. I really appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much. Score predictions now, ladies and gentlemen. Anita, I'm coming to you first. Who is winning? Give me score prediction and who is winning the 2021 Champions League final.
My score prediction is probably, I don't know, a 2-1 to... I'm going to be optimistic to Chelsea. I think Man City, they might struggle with the fact that there's not just that one person that they've got to shut out of the game. So, like, when you see, like, Dortmund or when you watched PSG, they did very well to make sure Mbappe and Haaland, they didn't really get much service. So they had to really utilize their midfield players. They really made sure that every time Neymar got the ball, there were 4 people around him. However, our team is not, unfortunately, reliant on individual brilliance. So it can come from anywhere on the pitch. And I think that's where Man City might struggle a bit. So there's not that one person to hold down. So I think a 2-1 is not that much of a bad shout as long as we score first. So, yeah, I'm backing my boys. Chelsea 2-1.
There we go. Daniel, how about yourself, mate?
Yeah, man. Score prediction, I will never go against my team regardless of what I think could happen. So I'd say 2-1 Chelsea as well. It's going to be a low scoring game, but I expect it to be entertaining. I agree wholeheartedly. And I agree with the points that Anita made, which are very, very valid. I think the Chelsea team is a very weird team where any one of the front 3 could decide to be the person. They're not consistently the best player on the pitch in other games, but they just suddenly turn up. So, yeah, man, I'll just say 2-1 Chelsea.
David?
Well, we won the Champions League in 2012, and those same numbers in the year are in 2021. For that reason, I'm going 2-1 Chelsea because that's the only hope I've got. That's the only hope I have. Because apart from that, I think City will win. But I'll never bet against Chelsea. 2-1.
That's so lame.
Jan, what's your score prediction?
You 1-0. Sorry. Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a tight game, 1-0 or 2-1, either way. I do think Man City should be winning this. So I'm going to say 2-1, Man City. I think it will depend on who scores first. I agree with Anita. I think whoever gets the first goal will probably win. So let's hope it does, hopefully.
And Jem, what's your prediction, mate?
2-0, Timo Werner, Mason Mount.
Yeah, I'm not keeping clean sheet.
Look at this. This is interesting. I'm going 2-0. But I'm not saying to which team because then I can, I'm going to go Chelsea. I'm going to 2-1 Chelsea as well. I think it's a good scoreline. 2-1 Chelsea. I think you're going to do it. I've had a feeling this whole time it's going to happen. There's a super chat here that says, if we win, Terry has to start the stream saying exactly this. Chelsea are now officially a bigger club than Arsenal. Maybe. I'll see how I feel. I'm an emotional guy, so I'll see how I feel with the performance and everything else. But I'm going to go with Chelsea, giving it a go. People saying Terry's jinxing it. I ain't jinxing it. I secured a prediction. I don't have
no, Terry, I'm not even being funny yet. Every time you put us to win something, yeah, we lose. Arsenal one. Chelsea are going to wipe the floor with Arsenal. Like, no.
Right, listen, I will change it. Chelsea are losing 3-0. 3-0 slapper.
Because Mason Mount and all of them are watching.
Tuchel is getting sacked at half time, and there's going to be a big entrance. It's going to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin's music, and you're going to have Jamie Redknapp one side, Harrod at the other, escorting Frank Lampard back in to try and rescue you. You're going to get slapped, Chelsea. That's what's going to happen.
I think David would have a heart attack if he sees Frank Lampard coming through.
If Frank Lampard came, oh my God, I couldn't do it. Do you know the thing is that there are so many Chelsea fans that actually want us to lose this final. They won't say it, but they do want us to lose because then they can be like, well,
who?
You know,
What Chelsea fans are these? What are their names?
Some of them, innit? Some of them.
His name rhymes with the party.
Apparently, me and him would vote for the same party. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Oh yeah.
No, but even like I watched a bit of Talk Sport, and the other day after we lost, like they were like, "Oh, it's just Lampard football, but without the fun." Like, no, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? He was like, "This is Lampard football, but without the fun." So I was like, "There are people there who actively want us to lose."
Yeah, but that's what it is, though, boys. That's all fan bases. Like I blocked a lot of Ollie out inners today who were just talking nonsense about if we had Sancho, we'd have won last night. Wound me up. But it was also quite a few of the Ollie outers that were just like, I don't want to see any Man United fan that's ever supported Ollie unhappy because you supported this. It's like it's so weird, but you can see they're happy. It's like, how are you happy today? You morons. But there we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, a massive thank you to Jan, David, Jem, Anita, Daniel, and of course Igal that turned up and gave us his. I love Igal when he turns up in the background. I see him backstage. Like, right, I've got to do this. It's gonna be a big game Saturday. We'll be live afterwards, of course. But until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again